All right, I want to thank everybody in the Holiday Bowl for having us, and the University of Minnesota for the fine football team that they bring. And with that, is there any questions?
You've now taken teams in two different conferences to this bowl. Do you have a different perspective of the bowl as a Pac-12 coach than you did as a Big 12 coach?
Not really. We stayed in a different hotel, be the only thing. I mean, it's and even some of the red coats are the same people that I remember from before. So, just a great bowl, great location. It's set up in a fashion that the players can walk where they need to go to keep themselves busy in a definitely an above average wholesome fashion. So. No, it's been good, and I think that it's kind of been a quality that they've built over time and consistency in the way they've done it.
Yeah, if this ends up being Luke's last game in 2 years with a minimum of 17 wins, a chance to win the conference, what has he meant to the program?
It won't be his last game. We'll see what the last game does mean to the program and all the milestone stuff.
Coach, teams react differently to adversity. There have been bowl games where players have been suspended and they've rallied. Have you talked to your team at all about be wary of a team that is going through adversity?
No, we just worry about what we can do. Just try to do the best that we can. Be the best football team that we can be and get the best work that we can and the best practices that we can. And they're a great football team, but the only thing we can control is ourselves. So we're just worried about ourselves.
Coach, you said a couple weeks ago that if players decided to boycott on your team, you'd cut them. Can you elaborate on that stance?
I would. I'm not going to elaborate on it because in this setting, it's just all about me trying to contradict something that Minnesota did, and that's up to Minnesota how they handle that situation. And ultimately, if I have a boycott, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But yeah, that's essentially how I'd handle it. So you can elaborate from there. Any other questions?
Hey, Mike, how strong do you get the sense the San Diego area is for Washington State fans? Is this a hotbed normally?
Well, we've got some players from here. And over time we've started to get more. Players. I think one of the things that's sort of a big deal here is just that it's kind of Pac-12 country. So there's the elements of people in favor, and excited about the Pac-12.
Coach, I have one football and one non-football question. Football question, Mitch Slider, have you been able to see much from him? What kind of jumps out to you about the challenge that he presents?
Big, strong, physical. Team seems to rally around him, because they've had a lot of close games, and obviously, him being the quarterback is key and instrumental to that team holding together and doing some good things at the end. The biggest thing that jumps out is, just how big and physical a kid he is, especially at that position.
And Gabe Marks told me that of, the topics of conversation that you guys have had, one of which is hip-hop music, and he said that you know a lot about the history even though you're not somebody who listens to a lot of it. What has kind of piqued your interest there?
Well, it's basically it's country music for city people, and so Gabe and I have talked about some parallels there, and that the themes are all the same with regard to relationships, money, law enforcement, the vehicles change from pickups to more sporty vehicles. Buses perhaps replace trains, and no, there's a lot of parallels with it, and we have discussed it, and I asked him how he keeps track of it, because see, to me, it's like classical music. I can tell you whether I like it or whether I don't, but I can't tell you what the title is, and Gabe's a sharp guy with a wide variety of musical tastes, and so we enjoy sharing all the arts and culture of our generation. So it's exciting conversation.
He said you're not a fan of iced tea. For some,
No, he's not.
he's not a fan of iced tea.
He's not. I'm ambivalent. He's not, but there's the story of how when rap was starting, how he went out and basically just says, hey, I've got a band, I've got this, and I need a bunch of front money in order to make this happen. They said, well, let's hear some of your stuff. He says, well, if you don't trust me, why would I want to get in a business relationship with you, and why should I be able to trust you? So that they gave him the money before the fact, and he went and got a band and did a tremendous job, right at the right place, right time, and great instincts. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Coach, when you were at Texas Tech, you overcame some troubles there. What have you been able to do with Tracy Claeys this week to kind of bond or share your experiences in overcoming tough times?
Really, the biggest thing is you see each other at these socials, and not always as much as you'd like, but know each other on other staffs, know of each other for sure. And, I think all coaches wish for the best for one another, and I think that, and I think he's done such a fine job at Minnesota, it's hard to not respect, so.
Coach, yesterday.
Oh, somewhere. Okay, go ahead, just holler it out.
Yesterday at the zoo, Gabe Marks and Kody OConnell, I was asking players what animal resembles Coach Leach the most. Kody OConnell went with a lion, king of the jungle, and Gabe Marks went with a koala bear. What would you associate yourself with more?
I think we're going to play Kody OConnell a lot more this game than we are Gabe Marks. And I haven't really given it a great deal of thought, and I'll go ahead and defer to the brilliance of those two guys. I haven't thought of it a lot, but from a personal standpoint, let's stick with OConnell.
Coach,
Gabe thinks I'm warm and cuddly. That's good.
with the state of college football right now and the bowl games, a lot of comments have come out that the bowl season has sort of been watered down ever since the college football playoff has emerged. Just what is your thought on that, and also what's your thought on certain players foregoing their last game and bowing out of the bowl games just to prepare for the NFL?
I think that the notion that it's watered down is ridiculous. It's like all of a sudden, how can bowl season be watered down any more than the regular season's watered down? I mean, people watch football for the sake of football, so I think that's absurd. I think the notion that the playoffs have had some impact on that, I think, is even more incorrect. I think that we need more playoffs. I think in order to have a playoff system that will truly represent and get it settled on the field, you need to have at least 16. I'd like to see 64, but at least 16. And then, the guys for. Well, I think it's 100% selfish. This business guys don't play in the bowl game. Those guys don't play in the bowl game. It appears to me that they think that all their accomplishments were solely theirs and theirs alone, forgetting the fact that somebody snapped the ball, somebody handed off the ball, somebody threw the ball, somebody made a block, somebody made a tackle, somebody made a catch. That anything that they accomplished on their team couldn't have been done by anybody else and were strictly theirs, and I can't think of a more selfish point of view. And furthermore, I think this is driven by selfish players and selfish agents. Occasionally, I wonder if they're not afraid that they can't pass the drug test that may exist at a bowl. I think that it's mind-numbing to suggest that some guy can go in there and have a profitable NFL career, yet at some point can't play football one more game with his teammates who have done a lot of things to sacrifice on his behalf. So I think it's short-sighted and selfish in a nutshell.
Hey, Mike, Minnesota hasn't seen the air raid very often, but they have seen it a little bit, like with TCU last year and Texas Tech after you left. Did you, in your preparation, did you study how Coach Claeys and Savell have attacked those teams?
Well, we had a lot of film. Nowadays, you get more film than you know what to do with. But you know, we haven't played a ton of teams their style either. So I think that kind of goes both ways. And you know, their conference, I remember at one time they were actually a pretty wide open conference. So now they're back to being what the Big Ten's known for. And then in our conference, it's a little more open, but. You know, the one thing that good teams do is they've identified what they do best and they continue to do it over and over, you know.